Hi again, everyone. This is the second video, which we will take you up to task 8 on our current sample assessment that we're going through, Padiham Products. We did task 1 to 3 on the first video. So just to remind you where we're up to, task 4 for 16 marks is where we are asked to post a number of invoices and credit notes. You normally get both, so you do tend to find you'll have maybe 3 invoices, maybe 1 or 2 credit notes to post. Sometimes they give it to you in the form of a day book, like an analysed day book, which you have here. And then other times they'll give it to you almost like, as you can see in task 5, like what I would class as like a sort of proper invoice document and a proper credit note document. So they seem to fluctuate between putting this kind of presentation on task 4 and then this one on task 5, but you'll get both in the assessment, just not sure which way it will be. So this is in the form of an analysed day book, and the sales that we sell on credit clearly are not via the shop sales, so you can clearly see it's sales of garden equipment and sales of homeware. We know that from what we created in task 3, the nominal code we used for garden equipment was 4001. And the nominal code we used for homeware was 4002. Code 4000 we use for shop sales, which will come up later on in I think task 6, I think it is. So it's a case of just obviously looking at the information we've got in the analysed day book, putting it into our invoices. Because it's obviously dealing with customers, we need to look at going into modules. At the top, of course, find our customers icon, and then we're going to put in the invoices via what we call a batch invoice, so this green icon here. Excuse me again, can't quite get rid of this cough today. So what we've got is essentially well, what we are going to be creating almost is like a daybook version of what we're seeing on the paper, but in Sage. Okay, so our first invoice, 7th of May to Reed and Partners, invoice number 754. So that's the start. We'll go back into Sage. So click on the account code. So it's Reed and Partners. Click OK. The date was, so it comes up preset as 31st of May because that's the date we've set the system software. So change that to the 7th of May. Reference, you notice how because I think they are given 30 days to pay, so you can see that this invoice is due 30 days later on the 6th of June. So that's what that due on date means. It's from when we set the customer up. Reference is the invoice number, which was 754. Just check that again. Yeah, it should follow in sequential order as well. 754, 755, 756, as you can see. Now, we will put the amounts in a moment. XREF we can ignore. The nominal code is preset to 4000 based on when we set the customer up. We said we wanted it, we put that green tick in if you remember, so it defaulted. So all we're doing really is looking for the correct codes. So we know that 4000 is for for shop sales, which we're not using here. So it's either going to be 4001 or 4002. So this is a sale of garden equipment. We know garden equipment is 4001. And the net is 156950. So change that to all we need to do is say find sales again, garden equipment 4001, click OK, or you can just type in 4001, whichever is easiest. Department and project ref we don't need. Details is useful if you've got some extra detail to put in. We don't seem to have anything other than it's garden equipment. We know that from the nominal code. So sometimes people still write that in though. So if you wanted to type that in, that's fine. The net amount again, just to remind ourselves, 1569.50. So 1569.50, and then just click on T1 because it's preset to 20%. T1 is always 20%. And then click on T1, it should work out the VAT. It's saying 313.90, quick check, and that's exactly what it is. So that invoice is posted. You can just save that and then just do the next one, save it, do the next one, save it, and so on. But it's easy just to go down to the next row and put the next invoice in, doing it as a batch, you see. So go to the 21st of May, and it's Colne Crafts. So we just jump down to the next row. Colne Crafts, it's already highlighted. Click OK. The date was the 21st of May. Invoice number was, I think, yeah, they were given 60 days, weren't they? I think so. That's why you've got that sort of due on the 20th of July. So invoice number 755. This is for sales of homeware at 95620, the net amount 95620. So that code's not right. We know homeware is 4002, so there it is there. Homeware, click OK. That changes. We don't need departments or project ref details. Again, you could put homeware in there, albeit the code does actually tell us that. So what we can put in there then is the net amount of 95620. So 956.20. Again, it's a T1, so it's 20%, which is what you should expect for when you're doing the sales invoices. So click on the T1, gives us a VAT of 191.24, which is correct, and that one's posted. Next date and the final invoice to be posted, 22nd of May. Once again, to Reed and Partners. That's a slight error there. I should just say Reed and Partners. Change that. It will say that by the time you get this version. So it's the 22nd of May. Reed and Partners again. Click on it, click OK. And 22nd of May. And the invoice number should be 756. And again, this time, whereas we sold them garden equipment, we're now selling them homeware. So it's £1,000 worth of homeware. And again, just click on the downward arrow, sales of homeware. There we go. Click OK, or just type in 4002, whichever you prefer. Already I've forgotten the amount. 1000. It's not a difficult one to remember, that really, is it? But never mind. Click on the T1, which should then give us VAT of 200, which is what it says there. Okay, and essentially then these are just the totals of the day book. So you have now posted each of your 3 invoices, your batch invoices, so we can now save them. Just close that off. Try that again. Sometimes it doesn't always react right away. I think there was one credit note as well. There it is there. Also going to Reed and Partners as well. So we will put that in, and we'll obviously use batch credits, as you will see in a moment. So if we go into, so we're still in customers. We just need to go into batch credit. We've only got one credit note, as we can see, and that's 14th of May, Reed and Partners, credit note 34. So back into Sage. So drop down on the account for Reed and Partners, click OK. Date comes up in red, as you can see, to indicate it's like a credit note. I've forgotten the date already. 14th of May. So click on the calendar, the date, 14th of May. And the credit note number was 34. And again, it'll either be 4001 or 4002. So it's garden equipment that's being returned, so it's going to be 4001 that we post that to. And 826.30 is the net. We don't know the reason for the return. If we did, we could put that into the details. So change the nominal code. So it's 4001. Just find that in a moment. So if we look for 4001, so there it is there, sales garden equipment, click on it, okay. Nothing to put in department or project ref details. We would put in here something about why it's been returned. We don't have that information. And the net amount is 826.30. So if we type that in, 826.30, and again T1 it, i.e. add the VAT on, it should be 165.26. So we quickly check that. That's what it is there. So there's our batch credit. There is only one. Click save, and we can move on. Sometimes it doesn't respond as quickly as it should. To task 5. Task 5, same idea really as task 4, this time to do with purchase invoices and purchase credit notes. Enter the transactions into the accounting software. Sure you enter all the information below and select the correct purchases code. So we know for purchases we're either doing 5,000 or 5,000. 5,001. Just going to pause there just for a moment. So our first invoice, unusual situation here in that we don't normally get this, but this is something that we've put in. So normally when you're doing your invoices and your credit notes, you would normally just use your purchases codes 5,000, 5,001, 5,002. But specifically this one, we've obviously got a supplier, Evans Builders, who we must use on a regular basis, and we've obviously clearly got an account with them. So what it's telling us, obviously, they don't send us goods in the forms of either kind of homeware or garden equipment, but we have still got a credit account with them. So we are told to this invoice specifically should be allocated to repairs and renewals. So we can still go in and post it in the same way into modules, suppliers, and then batch invoice. So we're looking for Evans Builders. There it is there. Click OK. The date that this takes place is 12th of May. So click on the 12th of May. Invoice number is, so a quick look there, invoice 5548. 5548. Normally, as I said, you would normally just be using your 5,000, 5,001, 5,002. This is something that we've just decided to put in just because of, I suppose it's saying that AAT potentially could give you a supplier that isn't to do with goods that you buy in. And it could just be like it is here, where you've got like a building company that you probably use on a regular basis, perhaps. And this is what's happened here. Not something I've seen, to be fair, with AAT under the AQ 2016 standards, but I know it has come up in the past under other sort of previous standards where they've done this. So I suppose just to cover potentially something that could come up where it's not just a normal purchase, we've been asked to do the invoice, but to post it to repairs and renewals. So what we would do is we would look for our repairs and renewals. So click R, and there's repairs and renewals, code 7,800. And then we would ignore department, project ref, and then the details. There is some details there because it's on the actual invoice itself, and it just says repairs to building. So let's put that in as part of our details. Repairs to buildings. The net amount is 1520.30. So 1520.30. Again, T1 it, so that will add the 20% on, and it should be 304.06, which is what we've got there. Excellent. There we go. Right, now just pause that for one. So I think there was a slight error there, which has now been changed. It did say terms 30 days, and it is actually 45 days that we get from Evans Builders. So that'll be on your version when you get this. So next invoice has come in from Attack Limited. It's for some lawnmowers, so that clearly fits in to purchases. We go back up to task 3 of garden equipment. So that's where we post it, and we know that was code 5000 that we used to create that nominal account. So if we go, so I passed it there, then back into Sage and click on our batch invoice, go on to the line below, and it's Attack Unlimited. It's already highlighted, so click OK. The date is 18th of May. On there, and invoice number is let me just find that invoice number, 2642. So 2642. It is code 5000, which is garden equipment. It just obviously tells us that here. You can see it's highlighting that there, so that's right. Details, do we have any details? I think we do. I think it tells us the garden equipment is lawnmowers. Yep, excellent. So we can put that in, adds a bit of detail to the invoice we're posting. The net amount is 1895.75, so 1895.75. Click on T1, and you should have 379.15. Just check that again, and that's what it is. That's the amount of the VAT. And then our final invoice is from Homestyle PLC, who've bought a dinner service, and that was on the 18th of May also. So we click back into our batch invoices, click onto Homestyle, click OK. Also the 18th of May. So change that to the 18th. Invoice number is H1529. So H1529. And this is for a dinner service set. So this is clearly not 5000. So if we click on our purchases, we should have, if we scroll down, you can either just type in 5001 if that's easier, or scroll down and find it. But if you highlight it, click OK, and you can clearly see now it says purchases homeware 5001. That just gives you a little check as to where you're posting it to. So if you look up there, you can see exactly which code you're using. So that's where it's going to be posted to. It's a dinner service set. So again, we can put that in the details, because that just gives us a little bit more. Well, okay, it's homeware, but what type of goods did we buy off them? It was a dinner service set times, I think it was 20, was it? Yeah, just type that in actually. Dinner service. In fact, it doesn't really matter, just the dinner service set will be fine. But we want to put times 20 just so it gives us a bit more detail. The important thing is we've got that extra detail of that it relates to the type of goods that we've actually allocated to the homeware. The net amount is also strangely 1895.75 as well. What a coincidence, eh? So 1895.75. I'm sure that will confuse, because you look at it, it confused me for a moment then. So the VAT is, of course, exactly the same as the previous invoice. Just the way it is. And then that's our batch invoices done. So we can click save on that. And once we're happy with it, close that. And then we've just got one credit note. I don't know why sometimes Sage doesn't always react right away. So click on our batch credit, and we are looking at a credit note to Homestyle, obviously to do with those dinner services. been returned. We've returned them. It doesn't say why we've returned them. Okay, so what we will do though is post a credit note number H482 on the 20th of May. So find our nominal account, home style, click OK. The date was on the 20th of May. The credit note number H482. H482. And because it relates to the dinner service set, we're looking at 5001. So again, we could, or obviously, which is homeware. So we could have just typed in 5001. We haven't. We just found it using the drop down. It doesn't really matter, and you can clearly see there purchases homeware. Department, project ref, cost code we can ignore. Details. So just put dinner service 5 dinner services returned. We don't know why, but because it doesn't give us that information. But a little bit of detail has still gone in there though as to what it was actually relating to in terms of homeware, and the amount is £750 and 60 pence. £750, 750.60. Click on the T1, and we should have that of £150 and 12 pence, which we do. Click save, and that's our batch credit done for our suppliers. So okay, so we've got our invoices for our customers and credit notes for our customers done, our invoices and our credit notes for our suppliers done, and we can move on to task 6. Task 6 normally in 2 parts, by the way. You tend to find that 6A is to do with some kind of receipts for sales, normally cash sales, not necessarily cash as in pure cash, but i.e. cash sales on the basis that we are not giving credit to our customer. And then task 6B will normally be some kind of related bank payments that we have to post. So we will start with task 6A, 6 marks as you can see, and we've been asked to, it says, Padiham Products makes cash sales to customers in its shops that are not analysed by sales type. So we don't analyse it into either garden equipment or homeware. So we just analyse it as sort of shop sales, which I think is what we've used. The nominal code 4,000 will have been used for that, I believe. The cash is paid into the bank once a week by the owner. Refer to the following cash sales listing for sales in the shop and enter these receipts into the accounting software. So we will do that, and we'll do it almost, as you can see there, we'll do it almost like a batch really, one at a time, going in on each row. Clearly you can just put it in once, save it, go it back into bank receipts, put it in again, etc. But you know, we will do it almost as a batch, as you will see. So if we go into modules, bank or bank accounts, and we go into bank receipt. And again, you can see it's already preset to the 1200, which is the bank current account, which is where we want to post it. So what it's saying is that essentially it's a cash sale. It doesn't even matter if it was cash. It's essentially the cash is going to be paid into the bank at the end of the week, and that's where we're basically putting the money. So first, week ending the 7th of May. The important thing here, though, is these are the amounts paid into the bank. But there's a little star or asterisk there which says all cash sales include VAT at the standard rate. So we must be careful with that. So 7th of May 2020. And if we just go back into Sage, so first date is the 7th of May. A reference, I don't think we had a reference that I can see. No receipt numbers or anything like that at all, or paying in slip, no, nothing there at all, so no reference to put in. Nominal code, now we know it's shop sales. It's been told, just very quickly, you can see it relates to sales in the shop, so it's shop sales, which is where we're posting it. So again, either if you know what it is, you can just type the number in or go into sales, and 4,000 doesn't appear to be there for some reason. Don't quite know why. Let's try that again. It's just moved further down, that's all, basically. So shop sales, there we go. Obviously it's in alphabetical order, that's why. You can change this to numerical order if you wanted to, by the way. So shop sales, click OK. Details. You can put here, oh, touch something that I shouldn't have pressed there then. Let's come back though, that's okay. So we can just put weekly shop sales total if you want. That just gives you a bit of an idea of what that is, and then the amount has already got the VAT in, so type in 2684.56. so 2684.56. now we can go wrong here. It's easy to go wrong. If you click on the T1, it basically adds the VAT on. If you forget that VAT's already included in that, what you want to actually do is do a calc net. So you can see here this F9 brackets, or just click the calc net button, and what it does is it pulls out the VAT from that figure. And that's the same as if you just do in your calculator 2684.56. And then, just as you will have been taught when you did the manual bookkeeping, either with myself or Jack, if you divide that by 6, you're extracting the VAT, and that should be a figure of, let's go back to Sage, I've got 447.43 on the calculator, which is what is shown there. So you can clearly see it's the same as just dividing it by 6. The calc net button does that for us. So back to the next week's worth of sales, 14th of May. So exactly the same situation. Going into the bank again, 14th of May this time. Again, code 4000. I'm just going to type that in actually. Again, it's the, if we start typing in the weekly, it should come up weekly sales, shops, yeah, there it is. So it just remembers, it's Sage just remembered you typing that in from the previous line. The amount, which includes VAT, 3552. 3552.25. to check that, which is right. But again, click on the T1. As the VAT on, we don't want it to do that. So we do want to calc net, and it pulls the VAT out for us. Same again for the next week, 1200. The date is 21st of May this time. Again, code 4000. And again, it's weekly shop sales. And again, we put the total in, which is 1471.33, 1471.33. If you click on the T1 and then do calc net, it will pull up the VAT. As you can just see, it's just done. And then our last one, 28th of May. So again, coming through the bank. 28th of May, click on your calendar, click on the 28th. And 4000 again and again, weekly, it should come up, weekly shop sales total. Click on the amount for the amount, but let's just check what that amount is. And you've got 2655.99. so 2655.99. And then for the last time, click on T1, but then do the calc net. You must remember to do that. If the VAT's already incorporated within the amount, that's where your calc net button comes in, obviously really handy. So that's done. We can click save. Okay, so bank receipts posted in task 6A. If we go back to our practice assessment, task 6B, refer to the following email from the owner here, Wan Khan, and enter the transaction into the accounting software. It's happening on the 10th of May, and we're paying for premises insurance. So he's put, hello, I have today paid our annual premises insurance of £566.74 by business debit card. So it's still gone through the bank account. please record this transaction. VAT is not applicable. So we know there is no VAT associated with that. So still in bank, we're already in bank. Do bank payment, 1200. The date it's happening, I think it was the 10th of May. Don't think there's a reference that I can remember. No reference there, just 10th of May. Nominal code, but we're paying for the premises insurance. So let's just click on it. It's in alphabetical order. Premises insurance. Click on P. There it is there. Code 7104. Click OK. I don't know what we could just put annual insurance, which I think is what it is. Yeah. So annual insurance just adds a little bit more detail. And again, put your amount in, which is 566.74. So 566.74. There is no VAT, it says. So it's either going to be a T2 or a T9. It doesn't really matter. Even if I would put this as T2, but providing that it's 0 for the VAT. So I've changed the T1 to T2 just by clicking on the drop down under tax code. Highlighted T2, click OK, and it makes sure there's no VAT there now. And then because that was the only payment, click save, and that's your payment done, and then you can come out. Okay, so we've got our task 7, which basically will always be receipts being received from our credit customers. We've got a couple of receipts to post here. So refer to the following BACS remittance advices received from customers and enter these transactions into the accounting software. Ensure you allocate all amounts as stated on each remittance advice note. So back into Sage. We're already in bank, but just to remind you, that's where we will be going with bank accounts. Now, rather than just putting it as a bank receipt, we actually put it as a customer receipt. Click on customer receipt. And the amount, or the account rather, I should say. Sorry, just close that. Close that for a moment. Sorry, the noise you can possibly hear in the background is in my study. Our combi boiler is actually in here, and someone is clearly running a tap. I can hear it because it's starting the boiler off. So my apologies for that. If you've picked that noise up from the background. This is coming from SCL Gardens, and they're paying us on the 15th of May an amount of 1780.42, and it's been paid directly into your bank account for the outstanding balance, for the balance outstanding at the 1st of May. So presumably they're just paying the opening balance off then, is what's happening here. So go back into customer receipt. We look here at the top half of the window for SCL Gardens. Click OK. There's the amount. There is only the opening balance. There was no further invoices. So click on the date that this is happening, which is, quick reminder, is on the 15th of May. And we don't need to put anything in the amount here. You'll see why in a moment, because this will actually automatically go in once we do something here at the bottom. So on the reference though, it is a BACS. The reference we can just put BACS. Now we just alongside receipt, because the whole amount is being paid, not just a sale. If it was just a specific amount, so if they were paying, let's say, I don't know, £500, say, off the opening balance, we would just type in £500 in here, and then just obviously save it. But it's the whole amount. So what we can do is we can highlight the receipt. You can see it's highlighted now in blue. There's nothing there at the moment, but if you just click Pay in Full here, this third icon along, and what it does is it obviously matches it to that opening balance, puts the amount in there, and we can click Save. And then go into our next BACS remittance advice, which is coming from Reed and Partners. Now they're paying us an amount of 1386.34, being paid directly into your bank account in payment of the opening balance outstanding at 1st of May, including credit note 34. Right, okay, so if we go back into Sage, look for our account, which is Reed and Partners, click OK. Now, there is an opening balance, there's 2 invoices, and there's a credit note as well, actually. So if we put the date in, sorry, just check what that date is actually, 25th of May. So 25th of May, highlight that. Again, it's a backs. Don't have to put anything in the amount again. It's backs. When we have a credit note involved, I tend to deal with the credit note first. It just seems it's easier, as you will see. This part of what's being paid is the opening balance being paid off, and then they've obviously knocked the credit note off, all linked to this one kind of a receipt that they've actually sent us for us. So if we highlight the credit note under receipt, as you can see there, this is the credit note here. Click Pay in Full. That makes that a minus amount at the moment. The rest of it was related to the opening balance. So click on receipt again, click Pay in Full. And now what we should have here is these two, the opening balance and the credit note, kind of net off to 1386.34. Let's go back to the assessment document, 1386.34, exactly what we want to see. That's all done. We can click Save. So the 2 invoices that we issued this month in May have not yet been paid for yet. And that's probably right, because they did get 30 days. So they're probably not going to pay them right away. Click Save, and then we can come out of that particular window. And then that's our receipts from our credit customers. And then what we're left with now is just our payments to credit suppliers, but equally, what AAT like to do now on this task is also include a payment that is to a supplier, but that we don't necessarily have a credit account with, as you will see when we pick this up in a moment. So task 8 for 9 marks, refer to the following summary of check payments made to credit and cash suppliers. Enter these transactions into the accounting software, ensuring you allocate, where applicable, all amounts as shown in the details column. When we allocate, as we just did then on task 7, by the way, it picks it up on the audit report, which is one of the reports that you will be asked to print off as part of task 13. So it is important that we do allocate receipts or payments to the correct invoices or open balances or the credit notes. So go back into Sage. We're still in bank, so just a reminder, we are in bank, but rather than doing customer receipt, this is a supplier payment. So it's a supplier payment, opens up like what's essentially a check. We click on who we're paying. So I think, just remind myself, Home Style is the supplier that we're paying there. So if we click on the payee, click on Home Style, click OK. The date this is happening, again, this is just it's a bit of a faff having to go back from the document to Sage, but it's just, unfortunately, as we know in the assessment, you're not going to have a printed version of this in front of you on the desk. So 12th of May, and check number 002267. So 12th of May is the date. And we put that in on there, and then 002267. Again, don't put anything in for the amount just yet, because what we want to do is see what that will be completed once we do this bottom half of this window for the payment. Click back onto, so we've got £1,500 payment on account. Now, this is something that you don't see too often with AAT, but we thought we'd include it as part of one of the practice assessments, this payment on account. What that means is that essentially we're not matching it to anything as such. So we don't know whether we're matching it to the open balance, to any invoices that obviously have been issued. All we know is that we are paying the supplier £1,500. So on that basis, this is now the time when we do use this. Okay, we just go straight into the amount box, put 1,500 in, and what will happen is, because we've not allocated it here, it will come up with it. If I click save now, it should come up with a question saying, are you sure you're going to be posting this as a payment on account? So click save. And it says there, this is an unallocated check balance of 1,500. Do you want to post this as a payment on account? And if you go back to the little scenario, yes, we do, because that's what it's telling us to do. So we would say yes to that. And what Sage will probably do is it'll probably post it and reduce the earliest balance. But because we're not allocating it specifically to an open balance invoice or to any invoices that have happened or credit notes that have happened within the month that we're doing the transactions for, the payments on account will just essentially reduce the balance of the account. So it's unusual because AAT normally do get you to allocate each time, but just in case, again, it will come up a couple of times where you'll see sort of payment on account, and that's what that is. The second supplier that we are paying is Attack Limited. So again, if we just go into our payee, Attack Limited, it's already highlighted in blue, click OK. The date this is happening is the 24th of May. 24th of May, highlight that. Check number 002268, I believe. Yes, there it is. Now, this is a payment of the opening balance, 1664.20, payment of opening balance. So if you have a quick look, you can clearly see that's what that is. So if we highlight payment, so it then highlights in blue, because that is all being paid now, that's the only thing that's being paid, we can click pay in full. And there you go, check gets completed for 1664.20. It's been allocated to that opening balance, and we can click save. Come out. Again, those two supplier payments have now been processed. Now, this one, as I say, can cause confusion sometimes. You saw it on the last assessment, on the practice one that Jag went through, that there was a payment to a supplier that we didn't have a credit account with, and that's what's happened here. 28th of May, we're paying for Premier Stationery, we are paying Premier Stationery. We've bought some printing paper and some ink as well. We've been asked to code it to office stationery. So the 1,500 includes the VAT. So rather than going into supplier payment, we stay in bank account, which is what we're in, but we take it to bank payment. Code 1200, going to come out of the bank. Yeah, that's right. We are paying this on the 28th of May. So click on your calendar, find the 28th of May. Reference will be our check number. So 002269, I believe, is what it should be. That's what it is. And we are paying for, so ignore XREF, and then we're paying for office stationery, it tells us. So I'm just going to click O. There's office stationery there, 7502. Under details, it's printer paper. Got the capital locks on, printer paper. So try that again. Right, so printer, paper, and ink is what we're paying for. Now it's 1,500, but that 1,500 includes, if we just go back to the practice assessment, that includes VAT. So I can hear you shouting, we've got to do a calc net. Exactly what we're going to do. Because if it's obviously T1, it's added 300 on. If I just click calc net, it should pull out the VAT. And it should be 1250. That's the same as just doing 1,500 divided by 6, and that pulls out £250 of VAT. That's exactly what the CalcNet is doing. So we've done the bank payments for the office stationery of buying some printer paper and ink. They're not a credit supplier, this particular business. So essentially what we're saying is that we're putting it through as a bank payment rather than as supplier payment, as we did with the other two. Click save. That will post it, close it, and that is task 8 complete. So we've gone up to task 8. That's the end of video number 2. We'll come back very shortly, and we will do the final tasks, task 9 to 13. So speak to you again very shortly.